Ladies and gentlemen, we're here.
I'm part of the Kliq, isn't everybody?
Yes! 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 I got an idea, yeah. Beat up John Cena!
Give me a hell yeah!
Oh, a little bit of the bubbly.
Too sweet! Here goes the mother! This is where the power lies!
I am the man.
We need if we can survive!
It's showtime, folks!
The following episode is scheduled for one fall, and it is for your listening pleasure. This is In The Kliq.
What's up, everybody? Baby Huey here, and sitting right next to me is my brother, Tommy. How's it going, Tommy?
Good. How you doing?
And joining us once again is our good brother from Pro Wrestling 101 on Instagram. It's Richard. How's it going, Richard?
Fine, how are you?
Are you putting on hand sanitizer right now?
Well, you're shirtless.
Oh, dude, it is so hot right now. Like, see, that's the thing. So I know I keep teasing the idea. I want this podcast to go more video based at some point in the near future. But then
we're all three of us are naked most of the time.
I know. It's because as you know, shelter in place has been going on for the last 6+ months, and the majority of this year I've been doing this podcast from home, and it's been hot. I got a window open. I don't have air conditioning in this house, so
he does have air conditioning, guys. I've been there several times. He's always got it, but he's just always nude.
But I'm sweating my ass off, so I'm like, dude, we're all one big family. No one's seeing this. No one's seeing this, so I'm gonna go shirtless for this broadcast now.
Why do you think that he chose radio and not TV? It's not because he's not good looking, folks. He just decided they don't have to know I'm naked if it's radio.
Oh, thank you. So just
hey Tommy.
Hey, Richard.
So, oh my god, I got the giggles now. but anyway,
gotta get them out.
But so anyway, I'm like, I know eventually if I want to do more video stuff with all three of us, I'm like, I'm gonna have to wear a shirt consistently, or we're gonna lose a lot of viewers at some point, or gain none at all. So I'm enjoying this while I can.
We might gain an audience we don't want. So
I'm gonna enjoy this as I can, because in the near future, if we do more video, I'm gonna have to keep the shirt on at all times. So, but yeah, welcome back, everyone. Thank you again for tuning in to a very special episode of In The Kliq. As always, remember to subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as well. A lot of stuff to talk about this week. We will get into our full-blown review for Clash of Champions that just wrapped up earlier tonight. But first things first, a little bit of clickbait news. Unfortunately, some sad news between the three of us really hit us hard because we were fans of this person. But it came out earlier on this week that Road Warrior Animal passed away, a.k.a. Joseph Laurinaitis, passed away at the age of 60 years old. And at the time, there was no announcement of what his cause of death was. People were saying just like natural causes. But then I read one report. Apparently he was battling some heart and kidney issues, and unfortunately passed away at a resort in Missouri, I believe it was, with his wife.
Yeah, he was on his anniversary.
Exactly, yeah. So,
Wow.
Oh, God, that really sucks. Because if you follow him on social media, he was active up until the day before, posting a photo of his wife and saying that he loved her. Happy anniversary. So, very sad news. Yeah. And, I mean, just speaking for the three of us, we're all around the same age. So, of course, that means we grew up watching the Road Warriors, aka Legion of Doom, depending where he watched and what promotion. So hearing this news was very hard just for all three of us, very sad. And Richard, I'll start with you. Just kind of maybe your initial thoughts when the word came out or the news came out that he passed away, and just, I mean, you know, kudos to you. And that's why I encourage everyone, please, all the Kliqsters out there, follow Richard on Instagram, underscore 10 or wrestling underscore 101. See all the amazing, like, just posts you've been doing the last few days of all this great Road Warriors and Legion of Doom content from their time in wrestling over the years. So I applaud you for that. Just a great trip down memory lane for that. But yeah, just kind of your initial thoughts hearing the sad news.
It sucks major for me because I mean, I go back and forth depending on the day, like my favorite tag team being the Road Warriors or the Dudley Boys. So it's just kind of like, God damn. Well, at least they're giving the doomsday device to other wrestlers in heaven now. So.
Yeah, that's the thing was, everyone, of course, was posting their thoughts about this and sending their condolences to his family and friends. But just, I mean, on Instagram, just a lot of the posts I was seeing was just it was a mixture of like heartbreaking, but also it was like, wow, that's really cool. Like saw some people were taking like the action figures and had them like the best one I enjoyed was him on a motorcycle and he's pulling up to heaven, like the heaven gate and the clouds there. And you see all the other wrestling action figures of other superstars who've passed away over the years. And it's like they're all waiting for him at the pearly gates. So I was like, oh, so touching. And another one, it was the back of his head, the action figure. And you see Hawk in the ring lifting up the rope, another toy action figure scene right there being played. I was like, oh my God, like Hawk is waiting for him, open up the ropes for him to come in. So it's just like, I'm getting goosebumps right now just thinking about it. It's so sad. But Tommy, how about you? Just kind of your thoughts when you heard the news.
I mean, it was just heartbreaking. I mean, but he was, like you said, he had his health issues and that. Yeah. And so it was just amazing that he lived till he was 60. Well, most wrestlers today, on average, they probably die probably in their 40s or 50s. So,
especially from that era.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. People came up from the 80s and 90s. I've said this before, but I think it's just really cool that at least we got to hear his story. And it's just really eerie now that Dark Side of the Ring had an episode about the Road Warriors this season. So I encourage everyone, if you haven't seen it yet, please go watch it. It's streaming on Vice TV, also Hulu. Hate to say this, I encourage you to go through the proper channels to watch it, but it is also on YouTube for free if you want to watch it there. But I just encourage everyone to watch it because for 45 minutes, you get to hear their story of the Road Warriors, their history in wrestling. And unfortunately, since Hawk passed away years ago, Animal is the one narrating the majority of this. So at least you get to hear his story. So if anything, at least we got to hear his perspective of their time in wrestling from his point of view. So that's very cool. We got to hear that. I mean, God, what else can we say that hasn't been said specifically in that Dark Side of the Ring documentary as far as, I mean, yeah, growing up, I mean, we all love the Road Warriors. I mean, they were one of the most dominant tag teams of all time between their size, their presentation with the shoulder spikes, the makeup. I mean, for me, like growing up, Tommy and I were, WWF fans. And so our first exposure to them is when they signed with WWF and they were Legion of Doom. And then I didn't fully understand, as a kid, that they were called the Road Warriors elsewhere in other territories. I just knew them as Road Warrior Hawk, Road Warrior Animal. So
how unfair is that, though, that they got two really cool names?
Yeah, like, dude, it's so cool, so awesome. I mean, I guess, Vince, the powers that be, when they signed them, they're like, well, we're not going to call you your names, that you were using in NWA, AWA, Japan. We're going to give you your own names. But at least they let them keep the Road Warrior name to individually name them in their WWF matches. But, I mean, God, just Tommy, like they came out to Black Sabbath,
Iron Man
and the NWA, AWA, and Japan. Just,
I mean, when they made their debut in Georgia Championship Wrestling in the early 80s, I mean, they just took the pro wrestling world by storm. I mean, it was just so shocking how dominant these guys were in tag team wrestling. I mean, it was just mind-boggling.
Yeah, I mean, Richard, you know this too, is like the way they perform, like power moves, and they would just destroy their opponents, especially like the local jobbers they would take on. It was so entertaining. I mean, like, I think I retweeted some stuff in the Kliq's Twitter page of like just some clips of the crowd would just explode. Like when you hear the beginning of Iron Man, the crowd going crazy, and then the guitar,
especially in Japan.
Yeah, and the crowd, the guitar riff kicking in, they would kick it up another notch cheering. And when they start coming out, like they both would just strut out there, pounding, the pavement, walking to the ring. It was just so intense, but so much fun to watch. And but
it was cool to see Precious Paul Ellering leading the charge,
Yeah, God, Richard, that's the other thing too. I was thinking is like Paul Ellering tweeted the other day a photo of him and Animal recently, and he said, he's sad to hear the news, but I'm paraphrasing, but he said, Hawk is waiting for him right now. So I'm like, I just got so emotional reading that, just coming from Paul Ellering, just how tough it is for him right now. Tommy, I guess I was kind of asking you the other day, like if you could kind of maybe recommend a few matches that the Kliqsters out there can watch online. And Richard, I'm sure you probably have some, so maybe after Tommy lists a couple, if you have any off the top of your head.
Sure, I got two.
Okay.
Yeah, there's two that really stood out in my mind that I watched recently, and it was one. It was kind of a controversial match, the outcome, because it practically caused a riot. It was in the AWA. It was back in '85. It was a tag match between them versus Kurt Hennig and Baron von Raschke. And there was a moment where Raschke clotheslined Animal out of the ring, and as soon as he gets out of the ring, there's this woman at ringside kind of just yelling at him and taunting him, and Road Warrior Animal clocked this woman.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It was wild. And this woman actually sued, filed a lawsuit, I guess, at the AWA or whatever, and it was dropped, of course.
Okay.
And, just Kurt Hennig was just bleeding, and he just got all busted up from the Road Warriors, and as soon as they were going out to the back, into the locker room, people were just pushing and shoving them, and they were fighting their way back to the locker room. And there was this one guy, he practically got into a fight with Animal, and he took his shirt off, and he was ready to go. And it was just like, oh my God, they just tore the place down with, it was just a crazy riot that happened that night.
Richard, I'm not wearing a shirt right now. I'm going to go start a riot myself against a wrestler at the next local indie show.
It was crazy.
What was another one, Tommy?
There was one I watched earlier. It was in All Japan Pro Wrestling. This was probably in the late 80s. It was them against the Funks in All Japan Pro Wrestling. And it was pretty a good match. It was quality. The way they were working and the camaraderie, the continuity between these two, it was top notch.
If you can, at some point, maybe tweet out those matches, and I'll retweet them in the Kliq's Twitter page. That'd be cool. Richard, how about you? Anything that jumps to mind as far as they've wrestled everywhere, they dominated, they have so many great matches.
I've got two, and they're against two of my other favorite tag teams, which I don't think get enough love. The first one is the Legion of Doom against the Natural Disasters. I think it's at a Royal Rumble. It's because the Natural Disasters are just so underrated.
Yeah.
Two big guys that can do drop kicks. Come on.
Yeah.
The other one I posted is against the Godwins. They're just two big, mean tag teams just wailing on each other. It's a good brawler tag team match.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That was a Raw from '97 episode. So if you're looking on the network.
Okay. Yeah, that's the thing too is, Legion of Doom. For me, I think of like SummerSlam 92 where, on the Dark Side of the Ring, they explained kind of what happened, but they got bumped up to kick off the show, but they came out in their motorcycles.
Oh,
right?
yeah. And at Wembley, I just watched that.
Yeah. And Paul Ellering had the puppet for the while. What was the puppet's name? Rocco? No.
Rocco.
Yes. And just, now we know, as Dark Side of the Ring explained, unfortunately, Hawk was a little under the influence and almost screwed up the finish completely, but they got through it. And but still, epic moment just in front of that large crowd, SummerSlam. Coming down the motorcycle is just part of the whole look. And then, just what they, for us, Tommy watched them live pretty regularly in the 90s. Richard, it was interesting. You posted that photo when they were in WCW and they had like more of the all blue look.
Yeah.
Yeah. I tried to use as many photos as I could without annoying people too badly with the different looks, because I don't know if I posted, but I found one with gold where the shoulder pads are gold, and the another one where they're silver.
Oh, that's super
wow,
rare.
that's cool. And then even we know we don't talk about it too much, or a lot of people don't, but I remember when they came back in the late '90s, LOD 2000, which was weird. It was like
I loved that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Apparently, people don't like that, but I always thought it was cool.
Yeah,
that was when Sunny was their manager.
Sunny was their manager. She had the hot, fiery look to herself, and both of them. I mean, Hawk and Emily kind of grew their hair out. I mean, they didn't have like mohawks or anything. It was just more short buzz cuts.
But that was before WrestleMania 13, right?
14.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, it was a short, I mean, that's the thing. They were short runs. I mean, we're so used to now these wrestlers signing 3-5 year deals. Back then, they were like pretty short deals. And like,
that was like a 2-year deal, which is fine. But like, I don't know. I like they had to modernize the look. Otherwise, it's just
it gets stale.
Dinosaurs from the 80s.
Exactly.
So I liked them. They had the hockey masks and
and then of course
the dog collars.
Yeah, I mean, so like Hawk and Animal are just legendary. One of the greatest tag teams of all time. I mean, from a powerhouse standpoint, they're one of, if not the greatest. It just, I mean, even like, listen, I know we're talking about like they come out to Iron Man, Black Sabbath on outside of WWE, but like in WWE, I love their theme song. Ooh, what a rush. And then
breakdown. Yeah.
And it's just, it was a basic hard rock heavy song, but it worked. To, like they bounced to that as they were coming to the ring. The whole presentation was awesome. They were so unique. And I mean, it's just so sad. And, now that they're both gone, I mean, Animal did an amazing job in recent years, like doing appearances, working conventions, interacting with fans. And even, it's just so trippy to me that, his brother, John Laurinaitis, people power, that's his brother. And, his son played football for a few years in the NFL. So it's very talented family. And just, growing up, I always thought they were from Chicago, but I didn't realize they were from Minnesota. And they worked at Biker Bar, and that Biker Bar produced so many talented wrestlers.
Yeah, Rick Rude, Mr. Perfect, Barry Darsow.
Scott Norton.
Nikita Koloff.
Yeah, all that. So it's just...
And they were all trained by Eddie Sharkey.
Yeah. Who's the guy from Demolition that was also... Was it
Barry
Smash?
Darsow.
Barry Darsow.
Yeah. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Smash.
Smash. Yeah.
The Repo Man.
Repo Man. That's... but no, I mean, I can't stress enough. It was very heartbreaking just because it's another wrestler that we love from our youth that's gone now. But no, thank you to the Road Warriors, especially in this case, Animal, for everything he's done for the business, all the years of entertaining us kids to, through our youth and whatnot. So, you're going to be missed, R.I.P. And, it's a tough time. And so, thoughts and prayers with their family and friends. So, all right, let's move on to the big event from this weekend. WWE is back for their annual Clash of Champions, not the Champions, as Paul Heyman kept saying on SmackDown last couple weeks, and that was a little annoying to me. It's like Clash of Champions, Clash of the Champions. That's WCW.
So what do you think of Clash of the Champions, Danny?
God damn it, Richard. So overall, like, listen, we were talking off the air. Like, listen, I mean, we can be super critical of some of these matches. Overall, I have fun. I mean, listen, at this point in my life, anytime we see a pay-per-view on a Sunday, I get amped up for it, regardless of the actual show. I mean, I'm at the point where it's like, I just got to appreciate. I think we talked about this. There's so much negativity in the wrestling fandom world, especially with social media. Everyone's criticizing every single thing everyone does. And it
good or bad.
Yeah, and it becomes very toxic. And sometimes I'm like, I don't want, like, for me, it's like, okay, listen, I get the social media game. To get some attention, you got to do live tweeting during an event. But part of me, I hate kind of doing it because, one, I'm distracted from watching the show, and then I'm reading all the negative comments as I'm doing it.
Yeah.
So it's like, part of me is like, I just want to turn my phone off and just watch the show. But overall, I enjoyed the show. It wasn't perfect. There were some issues. And, like, for the sake of time, we're not going to go through every single match. We'll just focus on some of the highlights, a couple lowlights. But overall, I had fun. Unfortunately, I felt like a lot of these matches we've seen many times over on recent episodes of Raw and SmackDown all throughout the summer. So a little repetitive, but nonetheless, it was still a fun show. I mean, we'll break down some of these matches, some of the surprises we got to see. But how about you, Richard? What was kind of your initial takeaway?
I'm pretty much the same. I'll say this. didn't hate. I didn't like the show, but
Okay.
I didn't dislike it enough to complain. You know, like it was what it was.
Yeah, it was a filler. It was a non-Big Four pay-per-view.
Yeah, there was. It was a show of moments and not matches for me. Minus, something here or there, but like overall, like you said, it was just stuff that we had seen. I did get pumped when I saw Asuka come out for Bayley.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's the thing too. You got to think about it. Is like, and I think I've told you this before. WWE, they're very much more about the moments that versus like maybe having spectacular matches. They're more about moments that they can use for future highlight packages.
Well, we're also forgetting too that this is a show that an hour and a half before they announced that 2 matches weren't happening anymore. So
yeah, that's true.
There was some rearranging of the show and giving people more time where they probably weren't going to get that much time anyway. So
yeah, Tommy, how about you? Any initial takeaways from this show tonight?
No title changes.
Yeah, that was a big thing. It was literally Clash of Champions.
I mean, but also I felt, when Drew McIntyre took on Randy Orton in this ambulance match, he was kind of like delaying the win, for the additional beatdown. It was kind of a heelish move
for time.
Exactly.
Stalling for time.
But it was kind of a heelish move on his part, I felt. But
okay.
And also just Roman Reigns was just so brutal and dominant in this match between Jey Uso. It was a fun beatdown to watch.
Yeah. So, Rich, as you just hit on, so yeah, about hour and a half before the start of the pay-per-view, they announced on the kickoff show. Unfortunately, 3 members of the Superstars that were scheduled to appear tonight. They said we're not medically cleared.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously that leads to a lot of people speculating what could it be. But yeah, Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler.
Steroids. I heard Nia was on steroids and couldn't pass a drug test.
Nikki
Stenzenol.
Nikki Cross. We're not medically
don't
cleared.
take this out of the podcast.
No, I'm just saying. So, when the kickoff show, Charlie said they were not medically cleared. As you said, yeah, people are speculating. Oh, what could it be? Immediately, everyone's reaction is, "Oh, is it coronavirus related?" But it's not necessarily that. Like they had it.
Do you care that they say if it is corona or not? Like personally, I don't need to be reminded of it every second of the day, which we are anyway. So if they just give us some bullshit excuse, I'm fine with that.
I guess for me, it's a matter. I mean, one, the individual person that is the victim, and I guess you want to call it a victim. It's their own decision. I mean, they got to have their own privacy, and I think I will respect their privacy if they want to come forward or not. I think a lot of people demand to know every single answer about these people's lives, and listen, it depends on the person. Like, some people go on Twitter and just publicly announce, yeah, I had COVID recently and I beat it. I quarantined myself and I got better. Some people, I think, like to keep it private. So I think it's just at the discretion of the person here if they want to have it out there or not. Unfortunately, as a public figure, like I said, people want to hear their answers one way or the other, or want to know exactly the exact details of why they're not there.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. It's like, it doesn't mean.
Well, do you care? Honestly, you texted me the information beforehand, and it was just like, okay,
yeah. I mean,
for me, it was just like, whatever, there's other matches on the show, and those weren't, it's not like Roman isn't medically cleared.
Yeah.
Or Drew's not medically cleared.
It's the lower card matches. I mean, I don't necessarily mind. I mean, that's easy for me to say. I mean, we're all humans. We all have curious minds and want to know everything. Mm-hmm. I mean, of course, there's part of me that wants to know just to have some clarification.
But then and then what? Then that's it.
Yeah, it's it.
There's no thought afterwards. So.
Yeah. I mean, for me, my takeaway is like people were assuming, oh, they must have COVID or something. Not necessarily. They could have been around someone else that had it. Yeah. And therefore, as a precaution, they're just not showing up to the arena. That's the other thing, too. So before you jump the gun, take a step back and kind of, unless you know the full story, don't speculate about this or that.
And stop being vampires.
Yeah. Well, Nia Jax even posted on Twitter. She's like, my partner is expecting. So I think she was trying to do some trolling already. Like as soon as the announcement came out, she was trying to do some trolling about why they're not there tonight. So I was like,
baby.
Yeah, so it's I mean, watch. I'm sure one of the dirt sheet writers out there will break what's happening probably in the next 24, 48 hours of what happened. I mean, I'm not on Twitter right now, but I'm sure there might be someone breaking news right now about maybe why they weren't there. But for the sake of this podcast, we're not going to go into it too much. But, so anyway, yeah, with that being said, a little bit of a change up. So, the women's tag team match between, Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler versus the Riot Squad didn't happen. Shayna Baszler wasn't going to take on Nikki Cross, but they did say she was going to come out and address the situation. So we kind of had that to look forward to. So the pre-show or the kickoff show, which was supposed to be Asuka versus Selena Vega, that got bumped to the main show. So a little bit of a switcheroo. SmackDown tag titles were on the line. Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura taking on Lucha House Party. Cesaro and Shinsuke got the win here, which we kind of expected. We've been seeing them going back and forth many times on SmackDown in recent weeks. Lucha House Party's been a mess as far as who's the true leader, as we saw on SmackDown this week. Kalisto thinks he's the leader. Lince Dorado thinks he is. I mean, it's just a lot of drama there. So hopefully both parties involved here will move on. So we jump to the main show, the main show for the night. And wow, what a opening match to kick off Clash of Champions. It was the triple threat for the Intercontinental Championship, a ladder match between Sami Zayn, Jeff Hardy, and AJ Styles. Sami Zayn claims he's still the champion, even though he was gone all summer, the last 6 months. Jeff Hardy is the most current champion, and he says, I am the current champion. AJ, for weeks, has been saying he's still the champion. The only reason he lost was Jeff Hardy used the brace on his leg and used a weapon to knock him out. So all three of them have a case here why they should be the true champion. So going back to old school storytelling in the 90s, you know, they put both titles up on the ladder or up high over the ladder over the ring. But yeah, Richard, man, your thoughts on this opening match for the night?
This is the best thing on the show for me.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes when you have guys that are all really good at something, it doesn't come out as good. But all three of these guys in and out of WWE are known for ladder matches or gimmick matches in general. But like, my God, this was just done so well and painful. I mean, there was spots that Jeff was taking where he was falling on the ladder at these angles that like just don't look natural to wrestling even. So I loved it. I thought it was absolutely tremendous.
I mean,
and the handcuffs was brilliant.
I know that was such a creative way to end this match, but you know, kudos to all three of them for sacrificing their bodies for our entertainment. But I mean, what a way to kick off the show to get everyone amped up, even though there wasn't a crowd in-house besides the Thunderdome screens. But for us all at home, I mean, God, it was the longest match of the night, but God, they went all over the place, laying themselves out on the ladders. Tommy, how about you? Anything that stood out for you about this match?
Just Sami Zayn is a diabolical genius.
Yeah, so towards the end, he busts out a couple of handcuffs and used them to his advantage. He, I guess, kind of borrowing from Randy Orton's playbook, took one of the handcuffs, put it through Jeff Hardy's earlobe that he has, like one of those big piercings, and then took the other end and locked it on a ladder. And then he took the other handcuffs and put it on AJ Styles. They were kind of tossing and turning. And then at one point, they both had the handcuffs on each other, so they're connected to one another. And then they're both trying to go up the ladder together while Jeff is trying to come in the ring while carrying a ladder through the ropes. AJ and Sammy are coming up the ladder, and all of a sudden Sammy spits out the keys in his mouth, unlocks his half of the handcuffs, locks it into the ladder, and AJ is stuck. Jeff can't get over fast enough because he's dragging a ladder from his ear, and then so Sammy just climbs up, gets both titles. He is now the official only Intercontinental Champion for the WWE. Awesome match here. And I mean, going into it, I thought Jeff Hardy was going to win just because he just signed a new contract. So maybe as a reward, they were going to let him have a long title reign here. But then again, I was like, you know what? They're probably like, we got him. Like, probably they use it as bait. We'll let you be tag IC champion, resign, and then you sign on. Okay, we can take it off him now. So Sami Zayn, I wonder now maybe moving forward, they're going to tell the story that they were going to tell after WrestleMania that they never got to tell because he went home and was quarantined this whole time. So I wonder if that's the point of maybe Sami Zayn winning here, is they're going to finally tell a story that they've been holding off for the last 6 months. But nonetheless, awesome match here. So props to everyone involved. Real quick, just run down some of these matches. So Asuka, Raw Women's Champion, defeated Selena Vega. I mean, that was such an easy one to pick. I mean, like, do anyone really assume that Asuka had a chance of losing here? I mean,
no.
Well,
and on top of that, you know, from what we saw on Monday, Zelina Vega's got some ring rust to get off before should be in a championship match like that. Because,
and that's
she's a capable wrestler, and even in spots for matches for Andrade, like, she hits things perfect. She just looks so nervous. She didn't look like Lana, but she looked, you know, a couple steps above Lana, which is still pretty low on the totem pole.
And I thought maybe this was going to be a one and done type thing. Well, after the match, Asuka was trying to shake her hand. Selena played her and was like, you know, hands together and was like bowing down. So Asuka replied with a bow down and Selena kicked her. So who knows? Maybe they're going to have a rematch tomorrow night or at the next pay-per-view. Who knows? But so it looks like this is not over yet completely. Yeah. Next up, we saw Bobby Lashley defend the U.S. title against Apollo Crews, a match we've seen many times, especially going back to Payback last month. Bobby wins here, retains the title. Not too shocking, especially how hot the Hurt Business is. So it makes sense for him to retain here. Yep. Keep them looking strong as far as the title amongst their faction. What were you thinking?
This was my second favorite match of the night.
Really? Why is that?
Yeah. I thought what MVP did made the match. Running around the ring, and he's acting like a classic manager.
Okay.
I thought that was done to perfection, because it's like this. I'm just so in love with this Hurt Business stuff. It's so good.
Well, and it's tough because, like, and we talked about, I think, last episode, it's like, okay, are they baby faces or are they heels? And I think so many people...
They're gray. Because it's like people like them so well.
And that's
like, for me, it's just, I mean...
They're hired guns, so they just to get paid to do what they do.
Yes.
So it's like, you know, they're a business, so it's a matter who pays them. So if you want to pay them to take out this baby face, sure, they'll do it. Take out this bad guy over here, sure, they'll do it. So that's why they're kind of like anti-heroes or tweeners right now, because one minute they're taking out Apollo Crews and Ricochet, who are baby faces, but then another minute they're taking out Retribution, who are attacking WWE. So they're protecting their property. So that's the main thing, is like they're gray right now because they're just hired guns to take out whoever. So yeah, I mean, and this is another rivalry we've been seeing play out all summer long. I kind of want to end. I want to see Hurt Business especially move on and do something different. So hopefully we'll get something new pretty soon. And I mean, I'm jumping the gun a little bit, but they did announce during the course of the pay-per-view that WWE is going to have a draft again coming up on Friday, October 9th on SmackDown, and part 2 will be on that following Monday, October 12th. So, I mean, once we get closer, maybe we kind of speculate who's going to go where. But, I mean, I hope Hurt Business stays on Raw, but then maybe the other people involved here can maybe go over to SmackDown with a fresh scenery and fresh matchups. Next up, we saw the Street Profits defend the Raw tag titles against Andrade and Angel Garza, a match we've seen so many times as well on Raw on past pay-per-views. I was like, why are we getting this again? I thought Andrade and Angel Garza were broken up. They lose to Selena Vega recently. I was like, I thought they were broken up themselves. We get this match here, and I thought, well, maybe they're doing one more because that way they were going to finally take the titles off Street Profits. Didn't happen. Pretty much a botchy kind of weird finish here. I was like, what the hell? This looks terrible. Like, Angelo Dawkins rolled up Andrade. The ref counted 3, even though Andrade clearly kicked out at 2. But apparently Richard, I missed it. Maybe my head was down, but you were pointing out Angel Garza was injured, right?
No, Tommy did.
Oh, Tommy did. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I thought he hurt his knee, it looked like.
And apparently, yeah, he was outside, you know, and one of the other refs threw an X sign up, right?
And I saw the medics, they were aiding to him.
Yeah, and then Twitter was saying like he might have a hurt knee or quad here. So it looks like that finish was kind of created on the fly. So, I mean, now, hopefully, like I said, maybe everyone can go in different directions now and just kind of get some fresh matchups here, especially for Street Profits. They are one of the longest reigning Raw tag champions. I want to see them do more with those tag titles.
Right.
That's where I'm coming from, like fresh matchups here. Next up, so Bayley comes out to the ring and addresses the situation here. And pretty much had like an open challenge. Am I right, Richard? That's pretty much what it was. Just like anyone want to come out and challenge her. And all of a sudden hear Asuka's music
Anyone
hits.
from anywhere.
Yeah. And so Asuka comes out and challenges her. I geeked out because it was very much like a rematch of SummerSlam. And I was like, oh my God, are they going to like pull the trigger and maybe Asuka gets her win back against Bayley from SummerSlam and becomes a 2-belt champion? It didn't play out that way, but yeah, Richard, kind of your thoughts on this match here?
It's a throwaway for me.
Yeah.
I really have nothing to say on it just because it was
last minute.
Last minute. I can't complain because of the situation, but it didn't mean anything to me.
Yeah, it was super short. Bayley got the DQ. She used the chair. And then what was it? Corey Graves called her the chairwoman of the board, or chairwoman of WWE. So kind of a new word for her because she's been bringing out the chair the last few weeks that she used to take out Sasha. And then sure enough, Sasha comes out afterwards, starts beating her up. So
with a bedazzled whale tail.
Yeah, I noticed that too. I was like, alrighty then. Okay, looks good, I guess. Yeah. So I was like, oh, is Lita's fashion sense here, like an updated version of it. So, but anyway, this is my guess leading towards a matchup maybe at Hell in the Cell. That's my guess. I think it might be a little soon, but listen, they are the two biggest names on the women's division, especially for SmackDown. So why not go ahead and do it? Next up, second to last match of the night, it was Drew McIntyre defending the WWE Championship against Randy Orton. Ambulance match. We were texting quite a bit. I was texting our buddy Kenny about this.
Kenny Sinatra?
Yeah, so he thought he was going on too long. That's what he thought. But Richard, yeah, kind of your thoughts on this co-main event.
This was not a match. This was it was for spots. Let's be real.
Yeah, right.
I mean, it wasn't something I was looking forward to anyway, because the two matches I could live without the most are probably ambulance matches and stretcher matches. So I wasn't into it, but I popped every time one of those guys showed up to get their bit of revenge. I was pretty sure at one point that Edge was going to show up, and it didn't happen. But I love the touch of Ric Flair driving the ambulance at the end.
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah, like you said, because of the stipulation, it's not so much a traditional match where a pinfall is going to be needed or a submission hold. Yeah, it's really just throwing them in an ambulance and closing the doors, and that's it. So yeah, it's very much the two of them battling and trying to prevent the other one from dragging them over to that ambulance. So I mean, they eventually go over there, and then, they're teasing that they're going to go in. One's going to go in, one's not. So it's kind of like dragging there a little bit. And there were moments where this match reminded me of Edge versus Randy Orton at, I guess it was WrestleMania, right? Where they were going all over the Performance Center.
Yes.
So, and it's like punch, and then like a slow drag to the next spot. Punch, kick, slow drag. So it was like, come on, like pick up the pace a little bit. I don't want a 2.0 of this all over again, this scenario. But they eventually go to the back and they do some spots back there and finally come back and go to the top of the ambulance. And but before I forget, so early on, Big Show popped out.
Yep.
Interfered, or had a cameo there, and I say interfere loosely because since it was okay for other people to get involved because of the ambulance match.
No DQs.
Who else came? Oh, Christian catering
in the catering
came in
department.
And so early, but by that point, I think people realize, as Samoa Joe said, this is your life. As far as everyone he's attacked all summer long, or all these legends are coming back to get revenge. And then they go on top of the ambulance. Randy pushes Drew off it, and Randy's staring down, just enjoying what he just accomplished there. And then all of a sudden, you see HBK come up and super kicked him off the ambulance as well.
That was funny.
That was, HBK, had his moment.
Well, he super kicked him, and then he poked him with one finger and he fell down.
Right.
So,
and I like he was, watch him try to climb back down. Like there was a ladder off to the side. I was like, how did he get up there so fast? Like, oh, there's a ladder. So, it was hard hitting. There was moments that I was curious if maybe Keith Lee was going to get involved or not, or if Keith Lee was going to get involved. Would Retribution get involved somehow? I don't know. It was just because all these other people were getting involved. And then, Richard, we were all texting and we thought maybe at that point would Edge make an appearance as well. I don't know if he's fully healed, but maybe he could do something to kind of get some revenge. But then, as far as, even the suplex into the front of the ambulance on the window there, that hurt.
Yep.
So, as you said, Richard, it's very much about just spots that they can take these moments in the match, chop it up, and make a 30-second highlight reel to show the damage that was put on their bodies. But for the most part, it was going very long and dragging in some parts. And then, Tommy, as you said, at one point, Drew was in the ambulance. Randy's ready to shut the door, taking his time. But Drew stuck his hand out, blocked it from shutting. Big power. He was hulking up inside the ambulance. And got out. And then
he gave him the Claymore.
Yeah, Claymore.
And then he was about to put him in. And then he was like, nope, I'm not going to finish it like this. And then for payback, he took him out, gave him the boot, which...
The punt,
yeah. And then threw him back in. There.
So I guess it was, as you said, it was very much like a heelish move. I also thought maybe it was like he wanted to get one more over him. And so, Drew wins here. I was shocked. I thought Randy for sure was going to get the victory here. I'm assuming... a couple things. Man, if Randy wasn't going to win it here, I don't think he's ever going to win the title off Drew at some point. Because, we've been speculating for months. It's okay, we love Drew McIntyre as WWE champion, doing awesome work. But it was who's going to take it off him? If it isn't Randy, who else? Maybe Keith Lee's now.
Maybe Keith Lee's waiting in the wings.
Maybe we just get a really long reign from Drew McIntyre.
I can't complain.
We're so used to these shorter title reigns.
Exactly.
I don't mind.
The way it used to be was that you would build up the heels like they've been building up Randy, like Mr. Perfect or Ted DiBiase.
Yeah.
And then when they get to Hogan
or Piper,
and then when they get to Hogan, it's like, oh God, they're unbeatable at this point, or they're just such a bastard that you think that they're gonna screw him somehow, and it doesn't happen. So
I think at this point, I'm part of me is okay, is this done now? But then I'm okay, well maybe they'll have a third match, a rematch, and maybe it'll be Hell in a Cell, and it's fitting because we've said Hell in a Cells should be the blow off to a long rivalry, like the third match of the trilogy. But even though it's kind of tough for me.
If Hell in a Cell is the blow off, timeline wise, that would coordinate where they estimated when Edge would come back. They said 6 and 7 months.
I think so. Yeah.
So in a month from now,
theoretically
maybe he's cleared.
That's
so maybe he screws Randy.
Well, part of me is Drew's won the first two, so it's if I'm Drew, I'd be why I want to challenge you again? Or want you to challenge me again. I beat you twice already. So, I know he's a fighting champion and all, but it's I would rub it in Randy's face, be aha, you couldn't beat me. But then again, Randy could easily come back and say, it took, 4 guys to take him out?
Exactly.
So, he can say, I'm still the greatest wrestler of all time. It took 4 people to take me out. And then, Ric Flair, even at the end, rubbing it in, driving off with the ambulance. So, I could see that. And then, if Randy doesn't win it there, then I don't think he's going to win it all, even though he's been one of the MVPs of this pandemic era of wrestling. He's doing some of his best heel work right now. And we all assume he's going to, the payoff is going to be a title reign for him. I don't know.
Does he need it?
And that's the other thing, too. It's I don't know. And then you and I, we were all talking off the air.
That's what makes this so great.
Yes.
That he doesn't need it. So, the loss to Drew doesn't hurt Randy. It only helps Drew.
Yeah.
And the whole situation's perfect for him.
And that's the thing. We were talking off the air. It's okay, if it's not Hell in a Cell, then maybe with the draft coming up, maybe Randy gets drafted to SmackDown and just takes his heelish work over there and takes out people over there. And then maybe when Edge comes back, Edge can come back to SmackDown. He has a long history on SmackDown. Most of his major title wins or championship reigns were with the big gold belt were on SmackDown, if I remember correctly. So it kind of writes itself as far as the history of SmackDown and with them. I don't know. I mean, there's different possibilities, and that's the great thing with this rivalry. There's different avenues they can go down right now. But no, nonetheless, I mean, we need to really enjoy Drew McIntyre as a champion right now. It's so awesome what he's been doing. So, last but not least was the main event. It was Roman Reigns as Universal Champion taking on, his cousin, Jey Uso. And, man, what a match here. Yeah, Richard, just kind of, your thoughts on this main event here.
It was slow and plodding, but it had some really good spots. I enjoy this Roman Reigns like everyone should, and people that complain are just people that complain.
Yeah,
right.
I'm with you too. Yeah, it was very slow, but it was a lot of S talking back and forth between the two of them, like almost like a family outing turned bad when family members are going at it and talking S to each other and be like, you know, I told you, like bringing up old history between the family, like old arguments.
Even the call me your tribal leader thing.
Yeah.
Where he's like, you know, that's something that when you fight, it's like, say you're sorry, you know,
I love
say that you smell.
I mean, I love the video package building up to this as far as, you know, they got Rikishi, they got Alpha, they even got Roman's dad, Sika.
I think they could have gone a little farther with that because there's just been so many members of that family that have been in WWE.
Totally. So, they could have. That'd be cool. They got maybe Jacob Fatu
and Tonga Kid.
Sure.
Yeah, Tonga Kid, or even
Aku,
Rosie and Jamal.
Oh, geez.
Oh God. Come on.
Too soon.
No, but
it was great.
No,
it was great.
But Alpha has another younger son, right? That was part of Legacy, right? For a minute.
Yeah, he was.
Manu.
Yeah. Oh no, Manu. Yes.
Yeah.
Manu.
Is that his son? No, that's.
Yes.
No,
it's the head shrinker. So Alpha's son was part of the head shrinkers with Rikishi.
Don't even try. You're not going to be able to figure out this family.
Dude, I studied that family tree on Wikipedia for a long time the other day. So no, it's Alpha's grandson. Alpha's grandson was in the Legacy with Cody, Randy, Ted DiBiase Jr.
Yeah.
Cody Rhodes, WWE name. But anyway,
Cody Reynolds?
Yes, Cody Reynolds.
Cody Reynolds.
Exactly. But yeah, no, they could have maybe got all of them chiming in. Even, God, what's Jimmy's wife?
Naomi,
yeah, they could have done stuff with her as well. But anyway, I enjoyed the package for what it was. But yeah, it was Roman. Everyone was super shocked and happy to see him wrestle without a shirt on.
Yeah.
Like, that was the big takeaway. It's very much like when Okada was wrestling with pants for the longest time and then went back to
tights.
Like, it was like
wrestling tights.
Who knows?
I'll tell you to watch something off air as to why he wears pants. So
okay, but
I can't say on the podcast.
Okay.
But I'm just saying, like, everyone was super excited to see him wrestle without a shirt again. And
basically, this match towards the end was like basically watching Raw Underground.
Yeah,
in a way. But
Roman was dominating in the beginning, and then Jay, as the baby face, made a big comeback, got some big moves, and we thought he was gonna actually, was it Corey said?
It looked like it a couple of times.
Do you believe in miracles? Corey dropped that at one point.
Yeah,
but then after that happened, Roman got really pissed and was just like beating down and was like, call me chief. And
he was just annihilating him.
And then Jimmy made an appearance, ran down there. You can see with his brace on, he's still injured, recovering from his surgery.
Got the towel in his hand.
And he was threatening to throw it in. His brother's like, no, don't throw it. Don't throw that ass. And I was like, oh my God. And part of me was like, please don't let Jimmy turn on his own twin brother to join Roman. Like, I thought that was going to happen.
God, no.
But I was like, come on, this is your twin brother. Don't join Roman. But, Roman started beating the crap out of Jay some more. And I mean, listen, I know WWE has like a no blood policy. But I really thought this match could have used some blood to really solidify Roman's aggressive behavior here.
Right, yeah.
But we didn't get it. But nonetheless, so when he's beating him down, Jimmy finally threw the towel, ran in, covered up his brother, told him to get off. And he even said, you're the chief. Even though Jay didn't say it, but Jimmy said it to confirm it, like, back off now. And it was just very much, like a family fight breaking up. So, I mean, whoever mapped out this match, kudos to them of really like solidifying a a family reunion gone bad. So,
Oh yeah.
no, but overall, like I said, it was slow, but it was very hard hitting and really told a great story and really solidified Roman as just this new heel persona and the chief of WWE. I don't know about you, but that one part where he was holding him to the camera and says,
yeah.
Was Jay laughing or smirking?
He was corpsing.
He was corpsing a little bit.
What is corpsing?
It's like when you start laughing, on Saturday Night Live when they try their best not to laugh during a skit.
Break
anything
character.
with Jimmy Fallon, yes.
Yeah. So Roman had Jay's face, and he's at the camera in the corner. He's like, "Look at the camera. Say I'm the chief," or whatever. I forgot exactly the phrase was, but Jay was like, "I'm not gonna say this," but he's smiling. I thought, is he laughing here?
Yeah, I noticed
trying to get
that.
Roman to laugh. You saw that too.
Yeah.
So anyway,
I took that more as like a "oh, you son of a bitch" type of thing. You know,
He had
what I
like
mean?
a really grin on his face.
Yeah. So anyway, that was a great match as far as the storytelling there, and really just like I said, solidifying Roman as a heel. So
let me ask you this: did you think at any point in time during that match, like, oh my god, they're actually going to do it?
No.
Okay.
Roman just got the title back. He's now legitimately like the hottest story or
They
personality.
made it look like that a couple of times, though.
Yeah,
I was looking at it, I'm just kind of like, they're not going to do this, are they?
No. So no. Anyway, like I said, it was a great way to end the show. Despite some of the redundancy with some of these matches we've seen already, there were a lot of great moments, as you said, Richard. So, Clash of Champions 2020 in the books, and I'll wrap it up for us. A couple of things we just want to touch on real quick. Listen, we're not going to go through Raw and SmackDown, all the highlights there, because let's be honest, it all were the go-home shows for Clash of Champions, so there's no reason to go through it all there. But one thing that happened on Raw that everyone was talking about, and it was addressed on Clash of Champions, so we can talk about it here real quick, was finally the debut of Retribution in the ring. Everyone knows what Retribution is at this point. This faction, this group of people who've been trying to take on WWE, take them down. So finally, the 5 core members that we saw make their appearance the previous week backstage made an appearance in the ring and had their debut match up here. So, Richard, I guess for you, just maybe kind of your takeaway from their debut appearance in the ring. It was announced right at the beginning of the show that they were offered contracts and now they're official WWE superstars. That got a lot of people wild up and like, what? Wait, they're trying to take out WWE. Who offered them contracts? And it's just some of the logistics as far as this storyline and then jumping ahead to where they're at now. A lot of people were just scratching their head and were just very frustrated with it. So, But I give you credit. You're very much very level-headed. You try to see the big picture. You try to stay positive with all this. So please kind of tell everyone what you were telling me earlier on this week.
I've seen enough wrestling. I think a lot of people say that, but then when you get into how long they've been watching or how young they are, I started watching in 2000. It's like, bitch, I've been watching since 1990, since I can remember.
Yeah.
And to me, if you're getting hung up on the names, you're missing the point. Okay?
Yeah.
Because we've gone through wrestlers with worse names, worse gimmicks. They look like badasses, at least. If you didn't see the spoilers online of who was in the group, would you really even know that was Dijakovic?
Yeah.
Like, he looked so different. And these are 5 people that you didn't care about a month or 2 ago. Yeah. Like, let's be honest. Maybe Mia Yim, okay? But, because of her as Jade in Impact or whatever. But, these are not people that we were emotionally invested in whatsoever. They are people that you've either seen in good matches or one who was just a Raw announcer and has wrestled NXT house shows. So, what is the anger for?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, and I'm sure we can talk more about this next episode because we'll probably see more of them on Raw this coming week. We had wrestlers 30 years ago named Axe and Smash, and on paper that's not cool, but when you see them, they're 2 of the biggest badasses you've ever seen. On top of that,
try explaining The Undertaker to someone who doesn't watch wrestling and see how they react to it.
Yeah. What? He's a zombie?
Yeah.
Who builds caskets? Yeah.
Yeah. And then your response is going to be, yeah, but it's cool. It's okay.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yes. No, I appreciate you saying that. I get what you're saying. And I think a lot of people, for the sake of being noticed on social media, they got to come up with these very drastic and critical.
Oh, I'll never watch it again now.
Yeah, analyzing the shows week to week. I guess for me, I think this is a time where WWE may, from a story standpoint, need an authority figure. Because this is what I'm getting at. As far as maybe, if you want to tell the story of, okay, you have an authority figure overseas Raw and SmackDown. Adam Pearce is kind of like that person right now. He's been used lately just to tell security what to do. That's more or less what he's been doing lately. But I think if you have an authority figure who decides who's on what show, you could do the story like whoever it is confronts Retribution, be like, why you guys keep attacking us? Like, stop it. And maybe they'll say, like, we'll stop attacking if you give us a contract or something. And then it's like, all right, and maybe at a pay-per-view or something, they can wrestle for their career, their jobs on the line as far as signing with WWE or not. And maybe use the contract as a story beat to eventually build to that. And then they win.
But that's late. That would be late to the party anyway, if you think about it. Because people are mostly mad over this week, right?
Yeah.
Not its entirety.
Yeah. So that's something from a story standpoint. It's like, okay, maybe say, even though it doesn't make sense because Mia Yim, all of them have been in NXT, so they're technically already have contracts with WWE. But I'm just saying from a story standpoint, they'd be like, they can fight to get a contract. And then once they get the contracts at a pay-per-view or something, when they win their matches or whatnot, and then they can like start appearing on Raw and then start creating more havoc.
It's just another one of those things that people are going to bitch about now and forget about later. Like the Red Universal title. When they unveiled that, everyone was like, this is the worst thing that's ever happened. And then as soon as Brock Lesnar has it, then people think that Brock is hogging it and he should give it away. It's like, I thought you didn't care about this belt. Now all of a sudden it means something to you.
Yeah. And I mean, there's people who are saying, they're like, oh, this is worse than Dungeon of Doom. And they were like, they got Bane mask. And I was like, okay, I see the Bane comparison. I was thinking
Dungeon of Doom is cool now.
I was just thinking more like Mad Max and the Road Warrior. Like, that's why I was thinking their look is resembling like Thunderdome. Oh, man,
these are people that are so young that they haven't seen those movies.
And that's
true.
That
bitched like that. So,
the only Mad Max they know is Tom Hardy.
They also haven't seen enough wrestling to realize how not so bad this is.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, they didn't grow up with Mel Gibson's Mad Max and even probably Tom Hardy's Mad Max in some ways. And like I see their look and I'm like, oh, it looks like something from the post-apocalyptic Mad Max world. But anyway, like I said...
on top of that, though, like WWE, like you have to give it a chance at least, because if they are good wrestlers, then you're just going to shit on it because whatever. But like, let's face it, they've had really dumb gimmicks in the past and then made it work. The Body Donnas, remember that?
Yeah.
Skip and whatever.
Yeah. Chris Candido.
It was terrible, but like they were a legit tag team.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, they are sports entertainment, so they got to try to find the entertainment side of it all with the wrestling. So, listen, I know we're pushed for time, but I mean, we could talk more about this once we see what happens on this week's episode of Raw and how's Retribution is.
Yeah, the moral of the story is don't take it so seriously, people.
Don't jump the gun yet. Let's see how it plays out. I get some of the frustrations, but
it's a long-term storyline. Some of you might not be used to it.
Exactly. So,
plus, I don't think we've seen the leader. None of them came out as the leader. So who is the leader? And
well, the other thing too is they've been doing an amazing job, especially Dijakovic's character as what's his name? T-Bar. T-Bar. Follow him on Twitter. He is trolling everyone
so hard.
And
they're all trolling people that aren't even in WWE, which is hilarious to me.
Dio Madden as Mace and Shane Thorne as Slapjack.
But
the three of them are trolling all these other Twitter accounts and wrestlers and writers.
Jericho, Selena De Laurenta, everybody.
It is so funny. So if anything, maybe they're going to use social media to help get themselves over.
That'd work.
Yeah, and then for the female names, there's been rumors of what their name's going to be, but until we hear it on TV, then we'll talk about it. So, yeah, so that was the main thing from Raw this week, outside of the build-up for Clash of Champions. Real quick, we'll touch on NXT this week, NXT Prime and UK. For NXT, we saw the Battle Royal to determine the new number one contender for Io Shirai's Women's Championship. Eventually played out, we saw Candice LeRae win here. Richard, just your thoughts maybe on the match itself and Candice LeRae as the eventual winner here?
It's a battle royal. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, it was kind of sloppy at first.
Which is funny because, like, my favorite pay-per-view of the year is the Royal Rumble every year.
Yeah.
So, like, I just don't care about battle royals in general. Like, they're not fun.
They can be pretty messy.
This one wasn't that bad. There was, I thought Casey Catanzaro made some really cool stuff happen in that match.
I think that's her main reason why she has a job with WWE in some ways. It's just for these moments, those type of moments. Like, I don't see her winning any title.
That's why you don't see her on TV that often, which is also why Meltzer thought that she quit wrestling, because she wasn't on TV that often.
Yeah, and then we saw before the match Candice LeRae attack Tegan Nox, and rumor is that she actually does have a legit knee injury. I mean, I don't want to speculate too much. This is all speculation until we get official confirmation from WWE, but she has a knee injury. Hopefully it's not serious, that she can just, heal up from a little bit of time away. It's nothing too long term. She already had a couple bad knee surgeries.
Just a year and a half already.
Yeah.
With 2 different surgeries.
So fingers crossed is something kind of minor that she can overcome pretty quickly here. But yeah, Candice LeRae is going to take on Io Shirai. They do have history together, so I'm excited for this. It's going to be a takeover next weekend, so we look forward to that. Also, before we get to the main event, we saw a vignette of like infrared, like nighttime vision, in a storage unit, night vision, and like distorted voice talking. And they're claiming back what's theirs, and you see like all these old versions of the NXT titles in a display. They break the glass, they take the titles. So people are speculating a former NXT champion is coming back. We can take a quick round of guesses who we think it is. Richard, who do you think is that?
I'll let you guys go first.
Okay, well, Tommy, tell me the male version one you thought or heard.
I keep hearing Bo Dallas.
I was hearing...
Damn it! That's what I was going to say.
Oh, really? Okay. I heard maybe Ember Moon, because it doesn't say male or female.
She's not coming back anytime soon. Her injury's really bad.
But I know she's very much arcade, video game personality. And
she's not going to get medically cleared.
Well, no, I mean, I know she had a really bad injury that was concerning if she was going to retire or not. I mean, I'm just throwing it out there from a female person, a wrestler that could maybe potentially come back based on that type of presentation with, third person shooter type look to that whole vignette. Is there anyone else that you were thinking of that?
I heard everyone talking about Bobby Roode.
Yeah.
And I just keep hearing that he's coming back to Raw.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's not going to be him. But then I started thinking, it's like Bo Dallas makes sense because they haven't used him and he didn't get furloughed or fired. So,
yeah. So,
and he was very entertaining in NXT in those early days.
And that was back in the day where NXT was nowhere near where it is now or the last couple of years. So he could definitely very much like Fandango and them, Breezango, I should say, excuse me.
Do you imagine him and Cameron Grimes together?
Wow.
To the moon! Believe!
You can believe to the moon!
Yeah, it'd be exciting and a fresh start for him. I think that's the great thing about NXT.
It'd be a good tag team.
Yeah, a fresh start for everyone involved. So we'll wait and see. And hopefully, I think in next week's TakeOver, I think that's where they're supposed to make their appearance. So we'll see. And then the main event, we had that gauntlet match to determine the new number one contender for Finn Balor's NXT Championship. It was Kushida, Cameron Grimes,
Timothy Thatcher,
O'Reilly,
Kyle O'Reilly,
and Cameron Grimes. I said that already.
Yeah, Bronson Reed.
So 5-man. I enjoyed the match for what it was. It was a cool concept, 2-man start, and then every 4 minutes another person came in.
Yeah.
Kushida got attacked. What was it?
By Velveteen Dream.
Velveteen Dream. So he got taken out, so it looks like him and Velveteen Dream probably going to have their own program soon.
Yeah.
But
I think they announced that for TakeOver, didn't they?
Did they announce already? So I haven't had a chance to check, but
doesn't matter.
So but then Richard, your thoughts on the rest of the match, how it played out?
I mean, for me, Kyle O'Reilly consistently is one of those performers that like I could watch all day, just because like whether it's funny stuff or just his transitions and strikes, I'm always really entertained by his in-ring stuff. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, and it was announced, Kushida and Velveteen Dream at TakeOver. So a lot of last-minute matches being announced for this TakeOver. So very much the opposite of the old school where they, like, every 3 months they would take their time building up storylines. A lot of last-minute stuff going on here. But, no, the match, I enjoyed the main event here, how it played out. Mm-hmm. It was cool, seeing everyone just, tearing each other apart for the match. But, Tommy, anything for you specifically that stood out?
Oh, I just enjoy Kyle O'Reilly's submission game. That's his prowess.
Yeah. And so he gets a victory here, and kind of a shocker. I mean, he wasn't someone I don't think a lot of people see as a main event, person. So
no, and it's but he has been. He's been a main event person in Ring of Honor. So
yeah, he was a Ring of Honor champion, right?
Yeah, I think
I didn't know that until what's that?
I think more than once.
Oh, wow.
I think he beat Adam Cole twice for the belt.
Interesting. So here's my reaction. I forgot where I saw it online. I'm sorry I can't cite who it was, but I wonder if this is going to play out very much how Evolution played out. Like
I think that's what we're looking at.
Kyle O'Reilly very much in the role of a young Randy Orton. Adam Cole's like Triple H, and so Adam Cole just lost the title. Someone else in his group is going after that championship that he wants.
Oh, yeah.
And maybe we'll get our own thumbs down type of segment in the near future. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, do you think we won't have time, but do you think Kyle O'Reilly has an actual chance of getting a victory here?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
You think he can really
wasn't his debut match in NXT, wasn't that against Drew McIntyre or someone? When he showed up and it was like a title shot, but it was like, this is the same thing when Roderick Strong came in. He came in with Austin Aries, but it was just kind of like, whoa, Roderick Strong's here.
Oh. Yeah, I'm trying to remember, because I remember when Adam Cole debuted.
They brought Kyle in, and then they took him off of TV for 1 or 2 months, and then they all came back together at that takeover where Adam Cole debuted.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I wasn't watching NXT regularly back then, so I mean, I really started paying attention more once Adam Cole debuted when he attacked Drew McIntyre at that takeover, and then the two other guys, Bobby Fish and Kyle, were standing on the ring corner distracting him, and when Adam Cole jumped in.
I think we're going to get, that's going to be a very hard-hitting, stellar match.
Yeah, dude. Between the two of them, it should be awesome. I mean, Kyle O'Reilly, he's been so entertaining. Anytime he had the NXT tag title and would play guitar on it, he's a great, charismatic person. And in many ways, maybe that's the story they're going to tell down the road, is he was very much in Adam Cole's shadow and wanted to get out of it. So, I mean, that's something we can look forward to.
Well, it could also turn into something like the New Day where they embrace it.
True.
We all thought that New Day, like Big E's going to jump Kofi and be, a contender for the title, and it never happened.
Yeah, so I'm intrigued. I mean, which is, we've been watching wrestling long enough. I'm nervous because of just what history has done in the past. But at the same time, I want to think we embrace it, but I'm curious. So Bobby Fish wasn't on TV this week, and I forgot who reported it, but the rumor is he suffered a knee injury of some sort while doing his own mixed martial arts or martial arts stuff at home. So hopefully it's not a serious injury, but he has been injury prone in recent time. And Richard, as you pointed out, he is one of the older guys in the faction.
Yeah, he's 43, and the other guy's in their early 30s. So
it's gonna be interesting. So I'm curious, will this lead to the breakup of Undisputed Era? Will the draft? I mean, who knows? Maybe the draft. Adam Cole could get drafted by himself. That's maybe Kyle O'Reilly can. Maybe this is a breakup of Undisputed Era, but on good terms, because someone got drafted and the other ones stick around. They all get new storylines. It's gonna be really interesting next couple of weeks how this plays out. So I don't think Adam Cole's scheduled for this takeover yet, but I mean, it could be a goodbye for him in some ways. That's something to kind of keep an eye on.
Typically, NXT does a goodbye match.
Yeah.
So I would say that Adam's going to be around till at least the next takeover after this one.
Yeah. So, but listen, I will admit, I do feel kind of rushed as far as they announced this takeover, like barely 2 weeks ago, and now they're like creating all these matches very last minute. I kind of miss the old days of where it's like every 3 months, they take their time building up these storylines. Lately, you've been getting a lot of these battle royals or these like fatal 4-ways or all these different type of matches where they kind of just throw a bunch of people in the ring and automatically pick a number one contender. Or no, all right, you got this program now with someone. It's not so much organic. I mean, look, Johnny Gargano was announced this week. He's going to take on Damian Priest for the North American Championship this weekend. It's like, oh, that was just announced out of nowhere. It wasn't really brought on. I mean, I know they had a little brushing together the last takeover with that ladder match, but I'm just a little concerned. The storytelling is very short-sighted, and it's not told. They're not doing these longer forms of stories. And I get it. The summertime was a little different because they had a couple takeovers. They had In Your House, but the Great American Bash.
I think they're trying to give people too much at the moment because they know that we're home.
Yeah, so I don't know, because of the pandemic era, that they're trying to just do more network-related shows.
I mean, I won't complain when it comes to takeovers. Plus, I mean, there was a period, remember, at the when the pandemic started, where we didn't even know if we were going to get takeovers this year.
Yeah.
So and because they skipped a couple months.
Yeah.
You know, because before it was like every other month.
Yeah.
And then it was like every 3 months. So,
but yeah, look, in the last 3 months, we've had In Your House, Great American Bash, Takeover 30. We have another takeover. So we've had like 4 takeovers in 3 months. So, Great American Bash wasn't a takeover, but it was treated like a big event like that on USA Network. So that's why I'm just concerned that they're kind of trying to do too many of these in a short period of time and not building up enough matches per se, or the building up the storylines correctly. But I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. We all love NXT here. Jump on over real quick to NXT UK, second week or second episode of this new era, this restart for them. Tommy was texting me right away that day. He was watching it live. Walter made a big return. We saw him at the end of the first episode, eyeballing, who's Richard's favorite wrestler over there?
Dragunov,
that's right, yeah. But Walter came out, had a great opening match
against Saxon Huxley,
yeah.
The British version of Bruiser Brody, which Nigel pointed out on commentary. That was awesome.
It was an entertaining match,
dude. It was hard hitting. I mean,
Saxon Huxley was someone that was a good hand before the pandemic, and I thought that he felt like someone that could be up there. You know, just great brawler with Walter. That was really good to open the show.
I know Walter at one point. I remember they were outside and he just threw him on the barricade out there. Even though there's no audience, they still have a barricade wall. Yeah. But he threw him on top of it and then picked him up right away and threw him on the outside of the ring right there, the hardest part of the ring.
Yeah.
So I was like, damn, that was a couple big spots right there. I was like, oh my God.
Walter just chopping him, and then it was just an all-out brawl.
And I love he chopped him and then powerbombed him and got the victory.
Right.
I love that. I was like, I love bringing back the powerbomb as a finisher. I'm all for that.
I would be all for those two having a takeover match.
Totally.
Oh, yeah.
I'm all for that. And like I said, I didn't
Shout out to Saxon Huxley.
Yeah, I didn't watch a lot of NXT UK before, just their takeovers, but that guy won me over.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's someone to watch.
He's got a good look.
And then we saw the tag match. Those two guys that looked like they were rejects from the movie The Lost Boys. As far as the long hair, something deadly.
I was thinking Interview with a Vampire.
Oh, yeah.
I was thinking they look like guys that were in the Lost Boys group in the movie. Like they look like
they belong in like an old 70s glam rock band or whatever. You know?
Oh, I thought you were going to say porno.
That too.
Maybe.
When they were taking on the Hunt, which I don't know.
What?
The Hunt?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said something else.
So they were taking on the Hunt, and hard hitting match. I'm still trying to learn all their names, but the one guy, he was getting a beat down and he could not tag his partner to save his life. Finally got the hot tag, and his partner started kicking ass, but unfortunately,
Primate?
Is it Primate? No, it's a Boar. Was it one Boar?
Wild Boar and Primate.
Oh, is that their names? Okay.
Mm-hmm. That's it.
So, like I said, I'm trying to learn. This is a whole new roster. I'm trying to learn all their names.
Oh, yeah.
The pandemic, honest to God, might have benefited NXT UK the most because everyone looks hungry. Like these are like two teams I wouldn't care less for before the pandemic, and it's like that was a really good match too.
Yeah.
Like last week with Gallus and A-Kid and the other guy, like that. Just like everyone's like swinging for the fences here. It's great.
Oh, yeah.
And, as Tommy pointed out last week, just Nigel and was it Andy Shepherd?
Andy Shepherd.
I like their commentary. They're just full of energy. Yeah. I mean, they're loud. The volume is louder, but they're not like shouting per se. It's just they're being animated. So
it's very compelling.
Yeah, I dig it. And I mean, listen, it's 1 hour, easy to digest, 3 matches, some promos, in-ring segment. We saw them, was it Pete Dunne come out?
Yeah.
And they pick out the seating. For the Heritage. No, is it Heritage Cup?
The Heritage Cup. The drawing.
Yeah. Richard, any early predictions who you think might win that whole tournament?
Not until I know who the mystery person is.
Oh, yeah. So they're going to have a triple threat. Yeah. Early prediction. I'm maybe Alexander Wolf. So
I was thinking him too.
That way Imperium gets another title to Imperium.
He could use that kind of a push too, but I mean, again, it depends on who that mystery guy is. Because I don't know who. It could be Harry Smith Jr.
Ooh.
It could be someone like Zack Sabre Jr. It could be whoever.
Yeah, maybe borrow someone or something like that.
Very tempting.
So they're gonna have a triple threat. So 3 mystery opponents going at it, and then the winner will become that mystery spot, the 8th final spot. So I'm looking forward to it. Hey, we all love tournaments here if done correctly, so it's gonna be cool. Then the main event for the NXT UK Women's Championship, it was champion
Kaylee Ray
taking on
Piper Niven,
2 fellow Scottish women in the ring here.
She looks so much different than she did at AEW. So much different.
See, that's the thing. Tommy and I were trying to okay, what's the NXT UK women's?
Kylie and Kaylee.
Kaylee Ray and Kylie Ray.
From Impact.
Yeah, Impact. See, that's the thing. I was like, they're so close in pronunciation.
I went with the show that everyone watches, so.
Impact?
I said AEW.
Oh, sorry. Hey, Demo God, Chris Jericho.
Who? Oh, it's Demo God?
Demo God. We thought it was.
But he got burned by T-Bar.
I thought it was demo, like a CD demo.
Well, it's in Fozzy. He's got music to.
Sure.
He's working on a new album. I can't wait to hear it. Hey, Chris, if you're hearing this right now, please send me your music. I can't wait to help promote it. I love you, Chris.
Cheeseburgers in paradise?
No. But the main event here, great storytelling as far as.
It was a good match. I really enjoyed it.
Kaylee Ray was trying to come charging at, what's the other girl's name?
Piper Niven.
Piper Niven.
Who was up against the steel steps. She ducked, and Kaylee Ray jammed her knees.
And she really sold the knee very well.
I legit was like, oh my God, like, she's really hurt.
I haven't seen anything online, so I really don't know if that's legit or not, because, like, it looked pretty bad, and they sold it pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
And then she finally comes back in the ring, or she kicked, because what's the other girl's name?
Piper Niven.
Piper was kind of like upset, as a baby face, upset that she couldn't compete anymore.
She was banging against
and then she starts trailing behind them and the refs as they're trying to carry out Kaylee Ray. Kaylee Ray turns around and smacked her.
Right.
And then Piper grabs her, throws her back in the ring. They keep going at it. So it's like Kaylee Ray, she's the heel here, but she was like, I felt kind of bad for her because she's like in pain, but she's fighting through it. So very much
wanted to continue.
Yeah. So very much borderline babyface tendencies right there. But they take out that bottom ring corner. And Piper was trying to go for what's that move, Richard, where you run and like you flop your body Is it Cannonball?
Senton?
Or
Senton or Cannonball?
Okay, I think
it's a Cannonball.
So Kaylee Ray jumped out of the way, and Piper hit the exposed bottom turnbuckle right there. And Kaylee Ray got the victory. So
hit her back and rolled her up.
Great hard-hitting match.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm kind of wondering if they're going to do a title change of some sort on just the regular NXT UK TV show, just to get people talking, or they're just going to save until the next takeover, wherever that's going to be.
Whatever, get more viewers.
Yeah, I thought they might have a title change here just to get people talking. That's anytime you want to get some buzz for a show, you get a title change going on. So
yeah,
but no, overall, Richard, your just thoughts on NXT UK this week?
2 big thumbs up.
Yeah, can't wait. I
Same
love
here.
it. I love what they're doing, the presentation. I'm very happy for them. And just
when you have Walter back, it's must-see TV.
Absolutely. So, on that note, is there anything else? I don't have my notes right in front of me. Actually, let me just double check, make sure we're not missing anything. Should we go ahead and wrap it up for tonight? I know, Richard, you're a busy man. You got stuff to do yourself on a Sunday night.
Do you want to go home?
Yeah, you want to go home? You're already home.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hold on, I gotta blur out the background here.
That's why we need to do video, so people can see
There
Richard
we
blur
go.
out himself.
I'm at work, guys.
Okay, so on that note, let's wrap it up. So a couple things. So we'll do let's see, match. Oh, wait, which one do we want to do?
Match of the week, show of the week, and 1 recommendation.
Yes. All right. You want to start it off, Richard?
I'll let you guys go first.
Okay. Tommy, are you ready? Or
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll go first. Okay. My show of the week was. Show of the week was NXT UK.
Okay.
And my match of the week was Kaylee Ray versus Piper Niven.
Cool.
And my must-watch recommend, go watch the match I told you about, the Road Warriors versus Kurt Hennig and Baron Von Raschke.
Awesome. For me,
It's on YouTube.
Let's see. Match of the week. Oh, man. Can we count the pay-per-views at this point?
Yeah, you can do that. We're here.
Yeah, it's happening. Let me see. Let me just double check if there's something I could recommend. That was.
You don't have to recommend something if you don't have anything.
I will say this. So
Just say Steve Austin, The Rock, WrestleMania 17.
There you go.
No, so on AEW Dynamite this week, Brody Lee took
Jesus
on Orange
Christ.
Cassidy, but at the end, Cody Rhodes came back, made his big return. So just to see Cody Rhodes' big return, kick the Dark Order's ass, that was awesome. So match of the week right there. Show of the week.
Cody Rhodes doesn't wrestle there.
Cody, just Cody, like
Yeah.
Cher.
Yeah, disappointing name like his stupid tattoo. Anyway, what was your
Brody
show
Lee.
of the week?
Oh, so that's the other thing. Brody Lee's promo after that was awesome. He called him out on his stupid tattoo. So,
It is stupid.
So
That is universally disliked even by your fans.
So I was gonna say, let's see. Dynamite was a lot of fun this week. I'm not gonna lie, it was a lot of fun. SmackDown, dude, like Tommy and I were talking earlier. SmackDown, every segment is they have a lot of great little storylines going on SmackDown as well.
Thank you, Bruce Pritchard.
So Dynamite and SmackDown. Kind of just off the top of my head. And recommendation. So as we're recording this episode, new episode of Stone Cold's Broken Skull Session with Kurt Angle this week. So
there you go.
That was playing in the background. So I was looking, even though I couldn't hear it. I was staring at Stone Cold and Kurt Angle talking the whole time. So check that out as well. How
Is
about
that
you?
why you're sweating?
Oh my God. Yeah, of course I see Stone Cold, man. That's why I had the beer here.
He's hot for Stone Cold.
I got the beer. I got the Stone Cold beer.
El Segundo.
El Segundo. Shout out.
Show of the week, I'm going to go SmackDown. Match of the week, I'm going to go over to the United Wrestling Network and say Thunder Rosa against Priscilla Kelly was very, very good.
It was a good match.
In terms of recommendations, since that Road Warrior Animal passing, I wound up watching that SummerSlam match.
Yeah.
But I kept watching that SummerSlam after the match because it's like, God, I haven't watched this since it was on tape.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with SummerSlam 92.
Okay.
And Shawn Michaels against Rick the Model Martel with Sensational Sherry.
I remember that match.
Fainting over both of the men fighting. And every time one of them would punch each other in the face, she would scream because they're so handsome.
Yeah.
And they shouldn't be hitting each other in the face.
I remember that.
Plus, she's in a thong. So.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome. Oh man, a lot of good stuff. And Primetime Live, their third episode from the United Wrestling Network. It's going to be happening this Tuesday on Fight TV. So if you haven't done so, please buy it, support the product. Your $7-8, however much it is, goes a long way there. So check it out. It's a lot of great matches lined up for this week as well. More stars from the NWA are going to be there. Also, shout out Primetime Live this past week. Our boy Carl Fredericks, by way of Reno, but he was a member of All Pro Wrestling for a long time. He's doing big things now with New Japan, and he's moving on up from is it the Lions, right? The
Young Lions.
I was actually texting him that night. I said, dude, congrats. Awesome job tonight. And he texts back. He says, oh, thanks, man. So, Carl Fredge's doing good things. He's finally breaking out on his own now. And so he's getting his own gear. And
I was really hoping that you were going to say his text back would be wrong number.
I have it here. So maybe we'll get Carl Fredericks on in the near future. I didn't ask him in the moment because I'm sure he's just coming down from that high of putting on a great match with Primetime Live, but we probably can get an interview with him in the near future. I'll ask about that soon. But no, a lot of great matches there, and they said more big things coming up this week. So kudos to Primetime Live for that. All right, let's go home. Richard, where can all the Kliqsters find you online?
Well, you can find me on Instagram and Instagram only at Pro Wrestling 101 and nowhere else, folks.
Check it out. See all the Road Warriors, we call it tribute that Richard's been posting, all the great stuff there. Did you see that photo of them coming out of the New York subway?
Yes, that was great.
Dude, that was awesome. You should post that one.
I've got a few more of their stuff to post. I just didn't, the day had passed and it's like,
yeah.
I don't want to keep doing this day after day. So, but I did grab, I have some terrible, terrible wrestling commercials coming up for everyone.
Nice. Is it Toys R Us related?
No, I'll look for that though.
That's a good one.
Some of them are toy related. Some of them are like local Texas commercials. So,
which, by the way, so you did say, you put that one commercial of the wrestling buddies. Yeah, Tommy has his wrestling buddy. Hulk Hogan
in my closet.
Yeah. We have it still. I always want Ultimate Warrior. My parents, they only gave Tommy one. They never gave me one.
My cousin had Macho Man Randy Savage.
If I can find mine and it doesn't smell, you can have it.
If
it smells, I want it.
Lysol on it. Tommy, where can the Kliqsters find you?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at IronFist1982.
Follow me on Facebook at Baby Huey Official, Twitter and Instagram at Baby Huey83. And like I said earlier, please subscribe, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts. Rate, comment, and review. It helps out a long way. Thank you. Shout out to Pro Wrestling Unlimited. They shared our last episode, and numbers did go up a lot. So thank you for that. I'm going to try to ask them another favor if they could do it again for us. So, but please leave a comment, share it, pay it forward. It helps us out a lot. So thank you for that in advance for doing that. And In The Kliq, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram as well. Got a lot of stuff posting coming up in the next few days. So on that note, let's go home. And that's the bottom line because Huey said so.